The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
Woo! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Might Be Brews, episode 44, the podcast where we explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. My name is John. With me, as always, Mr. Steve. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, everybody? I'm thirsty. Let's go.
Thirsty
Let's do it.
Thursday. The man behind the board, my brother Taylor. How you doing, sir?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Happy Thursday/Friday. What's going on?
Happy Thursday and Friday if you're listening on the podcast. But listen, guys, make sure you check out the brand new mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier to find your new favorite podcast. Also, help us make the show bigger and better by becoming a patron on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/mbnnetwork. $5 a month helps us get better equipment and exclusive network content for you. And also, shout out to our sponsors, Eunomia CBD. Go to eunomiacbd.com. Use promo code MBN for 20% off and free stuff. That's eunomiacbd.com. Check it out today. We've got a very special guest with us today, Mr. John Harahan, formerly of Victory, formerly of Surly, currently with Port City Brewing. John, thank you for joining us. How you doing tonight?
Hey, happy to be here, man.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. You sound fantastic right now.
Oh, great. Glad to hear
That
it.
sounds good. So, John, I want to start talking to you while we got you. Tell us what's new and exciting with Port City. Is anything cool going on? And what are you guys doing in the Virginia area, getting things going?
Right. So, obviously, COVID put a big damper on everything. But we started doing, some outdoor seating. We bought space heaters like months ago, just getting ready for the winter. So we got all new lighting, a whole new outdoor space. We never did outdoor seating before, so got this whole nice setup with these bright lights. It makes it look like it's daylight. And
Right.
with regards to the beers, we're dropping. We just came out with the Tmave Pivo, which I'm drinking now. It's a dark Czech lager.
Yeah, it looks dark.
Yeah, it's real smooth, real easy drinking, full of flavor. Really, really nice beer. And we're coming out with a Black is Beautiful beer, which I'm sure you guys have seen. A lot of breweries have been coming out with that.
Mm-hmm.
All the proceeds are going to charity. And that's a beer we're really proud of. We just dropped our Colossal 9, which is a Weizenbach. For those of you guys who've been around Victory for a while, it's like their old Moonglow. I don't know if they even make Moonglow anymore, but
No, and the people are quite angry about it. Every time they announce a beer, there's like, "Where's Moonglow? We want Moonglow."
If you can't find Moonglow, come down to Port City. We got Colossal 9. It's just as good, if not better, than Moonglow. I put it up against Moonglow any day.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What does this mean? Anybody have any idea, John? I feel like that might be.
So that's Tmave. Yeah. So that's how you pronounce Tmave Pivo. That's how you spell Tmave Pivo. So
Okay.
that word right there is there's supposed to be a little accent on it. The first time I ever ordered a Tmave, I was living in Minnesota, and I was like, "Hey, can I get the T-Mave?" And the guy's like, "You mean Tmave?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, Tmave, yeah." Which is just, I think it's the Czech word for pivo's the word for beer, and it's just dark beer. So,
All right, so I have a question right off the bat. You talking about Czech lagers? I seem to like those a little bit better in general. I feel like is it a Czech Pilsner?
Sure.
I don't know if there's a difference, but I mean, I know like the one that Victory has, I seem to like a lot. What's the difference, and what makes it a Czech, and why would you think that I might like it more than like a traditional Pilsner or lager?
So, I guess, big picture, lager is just a category of beer. You know, you got ales and lagers, right? So there's a million different types of styles of lager, just like there's a zillion different types of styles of ale. So with the Czech Pilsner, it's almost identical to a German Pilsner. The only difference is they use Czech hops instead of German hops.
Okay.
I think Prima Pils is a German Pilsner.
Mm-hmm.
But they're pretty close in style. The Pilsner that we pour year round is Downright Pilsner. It's a Czech style Pilsner, so it uses Czech hops. But once a year we make a German style Pilsner. Last year it won a gold medal at GABF, so that was cool.
Yep.
And we just had GABF a month or so ago, and we won. What's that?
How did you guys do? Did you guys anything?
Yeah, we got a bronze medal for our Oktoberfest.
Oh,
So
that's
you have
exciting.
you have about a 3% chance of medaling in any category. So to win even a single medal is awesome. So got that Oktoberfest bronze. So
That's interesting statistics. I always wonder, there's got to be a ton of breweries that submit to GABF. And, everybody that watches the show probably knows that, like, I feel like it's a recent discovery. Like, I really didn't know much about Marzens and Oktoberfest beers, and it just became something that's, like, really on my radar this season.
Right.
Where I was like, all right, tell me about them, teach me about them. And they've been fantastic, and I've been trying them like crazy and drinking them, and they've become like a new favorite style of mine. So that's super exciting to me personally.
Right.
And, you guys meddled on that. I got to try that.
Yeah, it's it's true to style. That's why we won that medal.
That's how you win, right?
Right.
Tell me about the Black is Beautiful, because I know there's a base beer, and we actually were lucky enough to have Marcus from Weathered Souls on the show when he was pushing that campaign out.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to learn about. And I know that there was a base recipe put out, but they were, people were putting different spins on it. What do you think you guys might have done differently compared to the base beer that you guys, put your own spin on?
Right. So, one of our favorite beers to make is a Russian Imperial Stout. So we kind of took that idea of a big, bold black beer, and we wanted to kind of reflect just that style of beer. Just really, goes well with the recipe that they put out. So we're kind of that's kind of our little spin on it.
I've seen ABVs all over the place, so I'm excited to see one that's like a heavier ABV.
Yeah, ours is going to come in at about 11%.
Nice.
So,
that's my kind of stout.
Yeah, we should do the job.
When are you guys releasing?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. We are packaging it next week. The actual release date I'm not sure on, but it should be soon.
It's definitely stout time. All the stouts are definitely starting to come out. I think Taylor cracked open a stout. What stout did you go with there, Taylor?
I am drinking the Lancaster Brewing Company Milk Stout, and it's not terrible.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's not terrible.
It's an OG, man. We were saying before the show that I used to take 76 out toward Lancaster all the time for work, and you would see the Lancaster Milk Stout. They have billboards, man, when you're getting out there toward Amish country, man. It's
5% alcohol by volume. It's good. Like I don't mean it's not terrible. It isn't terrible, but I'm new to the stout game. Like I've had some. I don't understand like some of the ones that people say are super chocolatey. It blows my mind because I don't understand that. It doesn't hit my palate that way at all. It just like totally misses me as far as like, some of the flavors I feel like some people get out of stouts. But yeah, like that one right there, I think is. Did I try that?
We might get into that. Yeah, this is the one that you had at my house, and I'm like, this thing tastes like pure fudge. and it just didn't hit you that way.
I was like, that's impossible to me. That you can take that away from like drinking that. It just doesn't add up to me. But it's okay. This is a good beer. I would drink it again. I got like a mixed 6-pack tonight. You guys would have been proud of me. I was in there.
Young
That's
Padawan.
awesome. Right?
I stood. I was up there at the wall, and I was just like, woo! I was like, Wegmans though they make it easy. Shout out to Wegmans. We talked a couple episodes ago.
Downtown?
Yeah. I said
Dre.
yeah. Shout out to Dre. I said that beer distributors should make it a little easier as far as like separating the styles of beer. And Wegmans, the create your own 6-pack, does that perfectly. It says right on the shelf. Here's pilsners, here's IPAs, here's sours, here's seasonal or whatever. Spiced, I think, was one, and and then obviously towards the bottom there's the stout. So it was like I was in and out. I knew what I was looking for. I got 2 different stouts and 4 different sours, and it was awesome. I hadn't been in there in a while, so I'm living a little closer to it now, I guess. And I don't know, we were just in there, and it worked out perfect. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I don't know. They do a fantastic job. That's such a good place because not only do they keep a great selection and they do a good job buying beer, they also have great prices.
It changed a lot.
We all know some of those places around us that can get a little pricey, and some of the stuff, these 4-packs and bottles or whatever get a little bit pricey, but they always keep it, right in line where it should be.
It was like $11 and some change for this 6-pack, and that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great, but it did change a lot, and I don't know. The place where they had the beer before looked like a bunch of lockers or something now for like beer pickup or something. I don't know. I felt like it was different, big time and I haven't been in there, and I'm talking like at least a year, maybe 2. So like, chances are it has changed substantially, but I don't know. I felt like I didn't see a lot of stuff. Like 6-packs, 4-packs, whatever. I didn't see what I was, kind of thought that I was going to see there. And maybe I just walked right past it. I don't know. But the creative 6-pack wall was fantastic. So that's
awesome.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think Devin might have gotten in my head a little bit, but like, I remember I got a bunch of stouts from Treehouse, and I was like, man, this one's not great. It's okay. I get some of these flavors that they're talking about. It's not great. It's not great. And then I realized they were all milk stouts. And I said something about it, and Devin was like, yo, I fucking hate milk stouts. And I'm like, man, I think I might too. But everybody knows, we've said it 100 times on the show that like, I like motor oil. Like when I'm drinking a stout, I want it to be thick. I want lots of mouthfeel. I want bold flavors, balanced, all that stuff. And, it just, milk stouts for some reason, for the most part, don't seem to do it for me. I need Imperial. Like we talked about the other day, the Underground Mountain, Sumatra Mountain. That one's a brown ale, but it's an Imperial brown ale. It's very bold, very, heavy mouthfeel to me. And I like that a lot. So that's more my style. I guess I'm not a milk stout guy. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I think it's my first one. I don't know if I've ever had a milk stout before. Maybe.
I'd be surprised, man.
I mean, we've had a lot of stuff on this
episodes,
beer.
bro.
Yeah. Thank you for counting that, by the way.
I recounted 3 times because I counted all the episodes that we did, but we were under lockdown and quarantine stuff. So I counted the live streams too.
Oh.
But then I had to be careful that like I didn't do the short 10-minute John. So like I had to subtract some, and then I went back and recounted, and I was like, all right, I think we've done 40. This is our 44th individual hour or longer session.
Well, I just wrote it down, and that's officially the title of this episode. So I hope you're right.
That's what
I tried
do.
looking at your playlist, and I think it was like off by 1, and I have to find it. It might be
28. There was 28 on the
okay
on the playlist, but then I went back and counted some of the others. But look, we got another guest here that's going to hop on. Let me bring him into the chat here to the live stream. Ryan from Fueled by Hops. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Good.
What's up, man?
Absolutely.
Good.
Ryan, I know you have limited time, but I wanted to get you on and talk to you because I saw that you are doing a online beer festival.
Yes, sir.
You know, I guess online can be anywhere, but it's got a little bit of a Pittsburgh theme with Cheers Yins Beer Fest. So if you got a minute, why don't you tell us about it and how you're doing it and what's the whole deal behind it?
Yeah.
Well,
first of all,
it just doesn't sound right when you say Cheers Yins. It just doesn't come out.
I can't
right,
say
John.
it right. Those
Ryan,
words
you gotta
I don't
help.
like.
it's a Pittsburgh thing, boy.
I hear it wrong, but I can't tell him why it's wrong.
Yeah, the funny thing about it is like most people in Pittsburgh actually say Yuns, but for whatever reason, anytime we like spell it out, we say Yuns, and like very few people say Yuns. It's more Yuns, but you know that's. No, first of all, I got to start off by announcing what I'm drinking because that's how we do it on our podcast. So I got to do it here. Drinking the Balmer Peak, the Equilibrium Trillium collab. It's a triple. And today is Tip of Thursday and Fueled by Hops. I only drink triples on Thursdays. So catch me. I'm already halfway down. By the time I get to the end of this, probably be slurring a little bit. So I'll get all the details out. No, so we've had a few beer festivals lined up, and the first one we were going to do was March 14th of this year. And as you know, COVID roared its like ugly head up March 12th, and we had to cancel that festival. Unfortunately, we had to postpone it until November 21st, which is 2 days from now. Well, back in like August, we were like, okay, there's no way we're going to be able to do a beer festival in person on November 21st. So we pushed it back again until July 17th of next year. So hopefully we can do it then. Fingers crossed that all works out. But, we started talking and I was hanging out with a lot of brewers and every one of them told me the same thing. They're like, we're super worried about how the winter is going to impact their brewery. Everybody was surviving through COVID because they had outdoor seating. But once the cold weather comes here in Pittsburgh, that outdoor seating goes away suddenly. Now you have limited capacity in your tap room. You can't have as many people in there. So everybody was like super worried about how they were gonna get through the winter and the cold months. So I said, you know what? Let's just do a beer festival since we're not meant obviously to make money in beer festivals. Let's do a beer festival to help raise money for these breweries that have been impacted. And that's where the idea for the Cheers Yins Fest came from. It was, let's put on a beer festival, let's raise a bunch of money, and let's give it all back to these breweries, help them out at this point in time, help them get through the winter, put a couple of bucks in their pocket, do whatever we can to tell people to go out there and support their local craft breweries. So that was the birth of the Cheers Yins Fest. So that's going to be coming up this Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. We're putting that one on.
So how do people, first off, that's awesome because I don't know if enough was done to, help support local beers, local craft breweries. So that's really cool that you were able to put together an initiative like that to help support the ones that don't have the right model or can't really, get the product to consumers the way that I'm sure they would like. Yep. But how can people participate? And once they get into it, what can they expect as far as content and involvement?
Yeah. So what we did was we wanted to make this kind of a festival with a conference vibe, so to speak. So how we work this is we got a series of keynote speakers. Right now we have 3 keynote speakers. The first of which is Julia Hers. She was formerly with the Brewers Association. She actually got laid off from the Brewers Association because of COVID. She's been touted as like the king of the face of craft beer. I didn't say king. Sorry, Julia. Okay. She's been touted as the face of craft beer and literally been touted as the reason why craft beer has exploded so much over the last 10 years because of the work that she was doing at the Brewers Association. So she's like super like on the up and up in the industry. So we're going to bring her out. She's going to talk a little bit about the current state of the industry, which I think is going to be really good. We also, and she fits like the mold of like the whole festival vibe. Like she was actually impacted by COVID-19. So, it like kind of fits in there perfectly. But Barb Baker, she is the Siren of Stout is what she refers to herself as. She's the VP of Fermenta. And Barb is doing a lot of work right now to help kind of like bring women into craft beer, which I think is really, really cool. So she's going to go on after Julia, and then following her is going to be a diversity and inclusion council from our local Pittsburgh Brewery Diversity Council, which I actually just got off a meeting with just a few minutes ago.
Nice.
We're going to have these like kind of keynote speakers, and then we're going to break into a series of breakout sessions. And we have a track of sessions for industry people. So we got, a hop farm in there. We have a malt guy in there. We have an attorney who's going to talk about like legal issues that breweries face. So we're going to have a bunch of programming for brewery people. And then we're also going to have a track of programming for craft beer people. So we're going to have these 30-minute sessions that go on for about 2 hours. And we're going to, have an art show. Collective Arts as a street artist coming from Philadelphia. And they're going to, she's going to talk about doing some street art. We're going to have a food and beer pairing and like all these different rooms that people can go into. There's going to be some cool sessions that everybody can check out for those 2 hours. Then we're going to wrap things up with a musical performance. The band was supposed to be a band called Fuck Yeah Dinosaurs from Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has a stay-at-home order right now, like just went into effect today, or goes into effect tomorrow, I should say. They announced it yesterday. So the band can't leave their house to get together and all play the show. So we now have a gentleman from Minnesota who's going to come in and do like a one-man band deal. But it's going to be 4 hours of craft beer programming. While all these sessions are going on, we have 25 breweries that are going to be in what we call our expo center. And you're going to be able to go in there and meet and greet these breweries. So they're going to be in 4 different time slots. We have like 7 or 8 breweries per time slot, but we have big breweries, small breweries. We have a Vitamin C is one of the breweries that's going to be in attendance. So you're going to be able to actually go in there, talk to Dino from Vitamin C, ask him questions. Collective Arts is going to be there. Tattered Flag is going to be there. Locally in Pittsburgh, we have Hitchhiker, we have Inner Groove, all kinds of great breweries from this area, but you'll be able to go in there, interact with them, talk to them. And we're really trying to bring that, like, kind of that festival vibe, where you can like walk up to the booth and talk to somebody, trying to do that same deal, but kind of in a virtual setting. So you'll actually be able to go in there, talk to the brewers and hang out with them and chit chat with them, and then break out of there and go and, hang out with some sessions or watch some music. And we're also going to have a hip hop show, like a hip hop room. My buddy Lennox from Atlanta is going to basically just sit in this room all day and like play music and hang out. But he's going to do it live from the Nappy Roots Brewery in Atlanta.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really a cool dynamic. So we just got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a great day. Tickets start at $10. You can't really beat it. For $25, we'll give you a festival glass. And then if you want to be extra generous, pay $50 for your ticket. We'll give you a glass. We'll throw an extra $25 towards the breweries. But I mean, the most important thing about this festival is all the money that we raise through tickets and all the money that we raise through sponsorships. We're giving that all back to the breweries. Like, we're just taking it and dividing it amongst the breweries that participate. A lot of the breweries are refusing the money right now. So like the bigger breweries, we won't name them, but the bigger breweries are obviously in a better financial space. They said, hey, we don't want the money. Give it to the smaller guys who need it more than us. So it's creating this cool dynamic where we're going to make sure that the money makes its way to the breweries that need it the most. And that's, at the end of the day, that's the most important piece of this whole thing. So 4 hours of great programming for as little as $10. Can't beat the deal. And what else are you going to do, right? It's Saturday. What else are you going to do?
That's fantastic. I would encourage anybody that's listening or watching, go on Facebook, look up Fueled by Hops. It's a fantastic community of beer people. You can obviously, that's where this whole project was born. But it's a great group of people that you should definitely check out and be a part of, because you guys have all kinds of exciting things. What do you call it? Fueled Fit?
Yeah, we got Fueled by Fitness. So if you're if you want to get into shape, which I'm certainly not, but we do a 90-day fitness challenge called Fueled by Fitness. And if you finish the 90 days of exercise, we'll send you a glass, which is we actually just sent out the first ones today, so they just started landing there. But we have a cool glass that you'll get just for finishing the challenge. We have that. We have the podcast. We have the blog. we got all kinds of irons in the fire, man. We're all over the board. So
It's great,
fun.
great content. You guys do fantastic, and
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
that's awesome. I really encourage anybody to check them out too. Make sure you guys follow them and join the group.
Yep. But cheersyinsfest.com. So cheersynsfest.com. If you want to see everything that's happening that day, all the speakers, all the breweries that are going to be there, all that good stuff, and you can grab your tickets right there at that website.
That's awesome. I'll make sure we share
all
it and, throw it on the social media too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate that.
You better spell it again for the southeastern PAers.
Yeah. So cheers, YINZ fest.com. So Yins, it's in Pittsburgh. You know what's kind of funny about the whole story is when I first started Fueled by Hops, when I would like address the group, I would say like, cheers, guys. And this girl who was in a group, she was like, hey, you probably shouldn't say cheers, guys, because it could be like offensive to women. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I need like a unisex term that I can use. So I just started saying cheers yins, because I was just like, yins is like, it can go either direction, So I started saying cheers yins, and it just caught on. And everybody, you Fueled by Hops, people post beers and they're like, hey, I'm drinking this beer. What's everybody up to tonight? Cheers yins, And it's just become a thing in the group, and we just ran with it. And now we have merch and everything else.
Shirts and glasses. And
shirts
I've seen
and
the posts. Absolutely.
Yeah, so now we have a whole festival about it. So it's just become like our thing, which is awesome.
That's awesome, man. Because I love what I hope. As much fun as this podcast is, what I hope it really does is I like to learn things, because I just love craft beer, and everybody that I've met that's involved has been amazing. And I love learning things and finding new experiences involved in beer. But I hope that in turn, we can educate people and help promote the industry and get more people interested in craft beer. That's kind of like our goal in the background, right? But one step further, I feel like, you've already accomplished being able to turn this this little thing that we do where we're just like, we're not in brewing, but we're part of the industry kind of, where we're trying to help promote, we're trying to get, people's names out there and be involved. You guys took it one step further and helped take this thing that we're doing and give back to the brewers and to the industry that helps give us content that does everything for us that we enjoy so much. So, man, just hats off to you. You're doing
Appreciate
fantastic, and I think that's such a great thing to be doing.
Yeah, we got to support the breweries, because like, what the hell else am I going to do on a Saturday? You know what I mean? If the breweries aren't there, like,
Exactly.
I don't remember what life looked like before craft breweries on the weekends. Like, it's kind of boring. What are we going to do? Cut the grass? Like, no.
Good call.
I'm going to go get drunk, man. That's what I do.
That is crazy, man, to think about. Like when we go out to dinner, my wife and I, or wherever we are, like we just always tend to lean toward places that have a good craft beer selection, if not a brewery to begin with. So like, I don't know. It's hard to believe, like, what did we do before? We used to be like, Red Robin or Applebee's, and now it's like
crazy.
all of these fantastic places that do great food, but also beer.
I hate it, because all the breweries in Pittsburgh open up at noon, so we go there at noon, and then we drink till 4, and then I come home at 5 and I pass out. She's like, damn it. But
that was my thing, man. I loved getting to breweries at lunchtime, like Thursdays and Fridays. If I could, I would try, even on weekends, I would try to get to a brewery early, because like when it's really packed, it's usually too crazy for my style, unless like we're planning on going out with buddies and having a drinking night. But I don't know, man. I just always like getting to places early. It's a little bit slower. You get to chat with somebody, a little bit more intimately. You talk to the people behind behind the bar that can tell you more about the beer or what's going on. I don't know, man. That's my scene.
Yeah, I love it. I love Friday afternoon, like leaving work early, grabbing a beer, just cooling out and into the weekend, man. It's the best. Absolutely best. I just love the industry, man. I met so many great people. Like I honestly, I never would have met you, John, like if it wasn't for this. Like, it's just all my friends are craft beer people. Like, they're all in this crazy world. Like, it's just who I am now. This is my identity, and you know, it's a great industry. It's full of great people, and you know, I just love being a part of it. So any chance we have to support it and give back to it, man, we're gonna do it.
That's the way to be, man. Beer people are the best people. That's what I always say.
They are. They absolutely are, man. Well, some of them anyway. Maybe not Mr. Steve.
Most of them, a good majority. A good.
I've got an article later. I've got an article.
Solid 58%.
I've got a news article later about a brewery owner that got arrested for some crazy,
dude, I saw
crazy
that.
stuff. Yeah.
That was
So we'll get into that a little bit later. Ryan, you got to run? Or are you going to hang out for a minute?
I got to hang out for a minute, man.
All right. We never got into it. I'd love to go around the room. Taylor said what he's drinking. Ryan, you said what you were drinking, but let's go around the room and I will start with Mr. Steve. What do you got going on there?
I got the Bitburger, the triple hopped lager from Sierra Nevada, which is it's one of the more complex lagers I've had in a while. Like the hop notes, there's a lot to digest. Like you can taste it one time and feel lagery and crispness, and then another time you get a really nice hop wave to it. It's really tasty and it's really, really good.
Yeah, I've somebody brought that up. It might have been Seth, I feel like.
I thought it was Devin, but
yeah, maybe Devin. Somebody brought it up, and I've been excited to try it, but I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been looking right, but I haven't seen it.
I got one for you if you ever come back to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I can now.
I was going to comment, like, it looks like your equipment looks a lot different. Like, it looks like you upgraded since the last time I was on the show here.
Well, my brother Taylor made sure that everybody got some decent recording equipment so that we don't have to do the headphone thing, you know, with just a plugged in. We've all got some microphones.
We not got everybody some at home,
man, because like
some remote mics. That's what we need in 2020. Apparently, everybody's got to be, you know, we got to do the best we can. It sounds a lot better this week in the past couple of weeks than it did beginning of our season or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks good. It sounds good.
I think I still need like a little bit more of an upgrade because I'm a heavy breather and I can hear that shit when we play the podcast back. So I need a noise gate or something.
Gotta get you a noise gate. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta get you one and co-host Kev, because co-host Kev just grabs the mic and he's just like motherfucker.
Shout out Seth. Seth, thanks for letting us know Exton Beverage has it. So that's exciting. I'll have to make sure. Where did you get it, Mr. Steve, while you're in mid chug?
When I went to Total Wine.
Okay, nice. How was that experience? I always hear great things about them.
If you want a lot of average beer, they're the spot for you.
Everybody's got their niche.
I was in
niche.
I really only went there for the wife because the wife needed some of her different liquors that she drinks. She gets these like chocolate milkshake Godiva Kahlua cream type drinks. That's her jam. So I had to go fill up on that. I got some wines for the holiday. I got like a case of wine.
Nice. Good move.
And then I grabbed all that beer there. I grabbed 2 of these. I grabbed a 6-pack of Celebration from Sierra Nevada, and that was it.
I hear you, man. So I was in Seattle a week or 2 ago. I had to go for work. I was super bugged about it. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about flying. You know, everything's real weird, but I was like, whatever. And I had to do it. So I went. Or I told my boss, I was like, I'll do it. It's you know, no big deal. I'm the young guy at the company, so I'm sure if anybody can risk it, it's me. But I did the same thing, man. There was a Total Wine over there, so I scooted in the Total Wine. I'm like, yo, this is going to be so dope. I'm on the West Coast. It's going to be incredible. And I walked in, and it's just like every major beer that we're used to. There really wasn't much of anything that was there that we can't get in Philly, which is fantastic for us. Like, we've got such a good beer market, but you know, they had all the new Founders KBSs. They had, you know, all of the major brands that I would call like a major craft beer brand. They had a great selection of them. And then of course there were some local guys that were Seattle based, that there was a handful of beers. And But I walked through and I was like, nothing is really blowing my mind. And I grabbed one bottle of a stout that was like a barrel-aged imperial, 12% something that had a dope label. I was like, I don't know anything about this brewery. I don't even know if this beer is good, but I know it'll travel and age well, so I'll pick it up. And that's really all that I bought out of there. I will say that I was way south of Seattle, down near the airport. So the only brewery I really hit was Odin's Brewing, Odin Brewing Company, which I kind of liked because I'm a big fan of like Thor Ragnarok and the Thor movies. So like everything was Odin, Thor, related, Asgard IPA, Thor's this and Odin's that. So
Loki sour.
yeah, the beers were good. They were really good. I had some good food there too. They had a brisket sandwich and stuff like that, but that was a cool place. And then I think the other night I just ate at Outback, but I had a beer and I wish I could remember what it was, but it was fantastic.
Foster's?
No, it wasn't a Foster's. It was like a local IPA, and I wish I could think of it, but yeah, I don't know. But John, why don't you tell me again what you're drinking? Because I know you went into it a little bit earlier, but I don't know if we did that on the recording or not.
Yeah, so I just finished my Tamave Pivo.
Tamave, that's right.
Right. But next I got lined up Port City Porter, and I will put this porter up against Lancaster Milk Stout any day of the week. Yeah, this porter is one of the best porters in the world. Won a silver medal at the World Beer Cup, which is like, if GABF is the Super Bowl, World Beer Cup's the Olympics. They do World Beer Cup once every 2 years. It's the most well-balanced porter ever. 7.2%. I love to brew it. I love to drink it. Yeah. Yeah, it's perfectly well-balanced. It's not overly roasty. It's not too thin in the body. It's perfect. It's my favorite beer. I brush my teeth with it every morning. Yeah, love me some Port City Porter.
I gotta get down there and get a hold of some of those beers.
Yeah, man, come on down.
I gotta do it.
I just recently installed
shut down.
Yeah, right. I just recently installed a kegerator in my house, so
Nice.
Constant draft beer now, 2 taps. Got it like a month before COVID hit. So glad I did.
Good
Yeah.
move.
It's a good call. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got to get mine running again. I jacked up my regulator because I had the line switched the wrong way. And I was
Right.
trying to release pressure, and beer came out.
Right.
I got like my regulator completely full of beer, and
Right.
it does not work now.
Yeah.
So I got to replace that, but I've been dying to get that thing back up and running. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it sooner than later. I wanted to get it done for spring and summer, but we will see about that.
There's also these little check valves they sell that if you put them in your gas line, beer shouldn't go to your regulator. So that should help you next time. It looks like a little plastic like nipple thing. You just stick it in there. Gas goes one way, beer doesn't go the other way.
Makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense for plumbing. I should probably make sure.
Right.
So I'm drinking a brewery I've never heard of, Tall Tales Brewing Company, and they are out of Maryland, I believe. Parsonsburg, Maryland, Tall Tales Brewing Company. This is called On Wednesday, We Drink Beer, even though it's Thursday. I got this because of the date. It was one of the fresher ones at the beer store, and I thought it was a kind of a cool can. It's pink and it's got like the creepy cutout letters. Mr. Steve, I think when I showed this to you earlier, you thought that it may be
It's Mean Girls.
Mean Girls related.
Yeah, it's Mean Girls related.
Yeah, they've got some some drawings and stuff on there.
On Wednesday, we wear pink. That's what the
I'm
line is from the movie.
I'm not afraid to say that that's a good movie. I like that movie a lot.
I think that's
It's a great movie.
That's a very good movie.
Yeah, it's very good.
Very good.
Back before that chick got all crazy and not hot.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, my wife had one earlier, and she goes, shit, I switched to something else because I really didn't like that beer. So I really wasn't like super excited for it. But maybe that did it some justice because it's tasting delicious right now. It's definitely a little hazy, but it's coming off a bit bitter up front. So the bitterness kind of, it's almost a tad unbalanced because it's so bitter and then a little juicy and smooth on the back end, and there's something in the middle that's missing. But other than that, I mean, all the flavors and stuff are on point, so I'm really enjoying it. It tastes delicious. But I could see her point where it's not as juicy as you'd probably like for a New England IPA, and there is just like something tadly unbalanced about it. Other than that, flavors are on point. I'm digging it.
Sounds delicious. The can is cool.
I opened up my my second one here. I got the beer of the moment. If you're on the Breweries in PA site,
Is it a New Trail?
the New Trail Levante collab, pointing north.
That shit is banger.
I mean, if you're in the hazies, you're in the doubles, this is going to be right up your alley.
Is it super clean?
It's not clean at all. It is the exact opposite of clean.
We talked about that, right, Taylor? Did we have the clean discussion?
That's why I said it. Yeah.
You know, you can't.
Yeah, he ain't into that.
You're not
Neutral.
reading anything through that beer.
Dude, New Trail does hazies. They're just so good at it.
Well,
They're kicking them out. They can distribute them. They're doing
Yeah.
mass quantities. They're easy to get.
what I meant by clean was totally. I was unaware that clean is an actual beer term. I was talking about it tastes so clean. It's like a refreshing, and that's like what I was trying to relay, and not realizing that I was totally just shitting on his beer right to his face. I'm sorry, Jim.
I don't think that was the case. I
No,
think
no,
he was
I
just
know,
trying to
I
say
know.
like
I'm just
Levante can make clear beers too.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. And I had no
you
idea
know.
what he was talking about. I was like, yeah, cool. All right, cool. I'm proud of you for that. That sounds great. I'm such a noob.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Fish. Fish made a dope meme this week that had me cracking up when we were talking about East Branch.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
That was funny as shit.
Oh, Fish made that? That's great. That's great.
I don't want to like say too much, but I mean, East Branch went out of their way to make sure that I got a beer delivery for Nathan, my brother. He lives in New York. When he comes down, he loves Alluvium. He loves a lot of their beers, Der Bock. And I was trying to make sure he could get some on his birthday. And they went out of their way to make sure that I could, get my stuff picked up. And I mean, I don't know. Those guys are just fantastic. But of course, the beers are fantastic. I love them. The food's amazing. I love everything about that place. But they just also go above and beyond for customer service and everything. So I was trying to give them a little bit of love back. And then, we got the meme born of it. And
I mean, I'll say this as a brewer, man. East Branch makes like world-class beer. Like anytime I'm home in Downtown, I go to like Leone's Pizza and I go to East Branch, and I load up. I saw one of the comments was like, what kind of beer does a brewer have on tap at his house? One of them's East Branch, not all the time, but yeah, East Branch Pilsner. I've definitely had that on draft at my house. They, load up on cans. Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm hearing that a lot. I've heard that Gene from Tired Hands is a huge East Branch fan, and he's real tight with those guys, obviously, but like he's always got their Pilsners and lagers on tap at home. And I think that what I'm finding out is that a lot of brewers appreciate that. And that's like that gap that I'd love to figure out how to bridge, because brewers love those clean styles, those beers that aren't easy, that take longer, that you can't hide things with a bunch of hops and a bunch of dry hopping and things like that. And brewers love a good style like that. And when you find a brewery that does them, I just wish that the common person would appreciate them as much as a lot of the people that are deep into craft beer do. You know, everybody goes crazy for the hazies, and not to knock that, because I mean, what a fantastic business model. That may be the thing that bridges that gap, that people that love drinking, orange crushes in the summer and, all the traditional stuff, that the seltzers and all that, they find a good hazy New England IPA that's super juicy, low IBU, and can crush them and appreciate the flavor profiles. That may be the thing that brings them over to the Pilsner side eventually, gets them into craft beer. And the way that you see these breweries cranking out these hazy beers and people just buying them, you can't knock that. That's a great business model. Good, good for them. And I love them. I do. But I just wish for somehow that people would start to appreciate these more difficult styles, these traditional styles, the lagers, the pilsners, the Kolsch's.
I'm just thinking this now, but I don't know how many breweries do those styles, let alone how many do them really well, because like you said, the business model is hazies, and I love hazies, so not a lot of breweries brew those styles. And then for those who are, out of practice or whatever, like you said, they're not easy styles to make. So when you find an East Branch, when you find, I'm biased, but a Port City, that makes good lagers, I jump all over them, but
I have a hard time understanding for sure what's a beer that sells easy, because to me, I would think if most people are used to Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Light, that your Pilsners, your lagers, your Kolsch's should be an easy sell for somebody and move quickly because the average person would drink them. But is that not the type of person that's coming into a craft beer bar? Do they avoid those places and go to their dive bar, to their restaurant, and get those macros that they just always have, the 5 or 6 varieties, or when people pull up to a craft beer place or to a brewery, do they usually always go for the IPA?
I think with regards to the macro lager drinker, it comes down to probably 3 things. One is habit and culture. That's what I drink. That's what I do. I drink Bud, I drink Miller, I drink Coors. The other thing is probably maybe price. Miller, Coors, it's less expensive than your craft.
Sure.
And then thirdly, it's this weird what's the word? Kind of like this anti-bougie. You have I have an uncle who only drinks Coors Light, and you drink craft, you're some soft liberal. You drink craft beer.
Sure. I got you.
Yeah. And
I get that.
He came to visit, I don't know, a year ago. We had dinner. I had my IPA. He had his Coors Light. And at the end of the meal, I was like, hey, there's a little beer bar down the street. We want to grab one. He's like, all right, I'll let you pick me out something. I don't like this fancy stuff, but, beer's beer or whatever,
Yeah,
So
right.
He was drinking Allagash White,
Yeah.
Great beer. Love Allagash White. And, he's having a couple. And he goes, what are you drinking? And I said, I'm drinking a Grisette. He's like, what's a Grisette? I was like, well, it's a style that, it's a Belgian style that Belgians and coal miners used to drink. He's like, whoa, I don't want to hear any of this fancy stuff. I was like, hey, man, you know what beer is? You know what mining coal is? That's what these guys drank, okay? Don't get all up on your high horse about your fancy beer, It's just beer, So, there's this, you kind of got to just get over it and know that beer is beer, It's not just because you're not used to it. Just because it's not, Bud Miller Coors doesn't mean it's not still just beer.
It's funny, man. I've got the Allagash White thing a lot. When I was just starting to get into beer, if anybody's a craft beer fan and been to Massachusetts, if you haven't been, I highly recommend it. Armsby Abbey, one of my favorite establishments. They always have a bunch of Hill Farmstead on. They've got a fantastic tap list. Worcester is it's spelled Worcester. I called it Worcester, like a true American would, but those people up in Boston call it Worcester.
Worcester.
So it's kind of in between like Treehouse and Boston, right? There's Worcester, and so I went there early on into my craft beer game, and I'm like, I'm not sure what I like. I like drinking Blue Moons. I like this and that, and they go Allagash White for you. I remember going to a bunch of places, craft beer places, and I'm like, I'm not sure. What do you recommend? And they're just like Allagash White, and I do not like it. Never have. I don't know if I ever will. I haven't had it in a long time because like there's probably something about that wit beer type. It's a wit beer, right? What is that?
Yeah.
There's something about that style that's a little funky to me that hits my palate in a weird way that I don't like. Tastes like a dish rag. Like to me personally. But a lot of people like it, and that one doesn't do it for me. But I got that a lot as I was trying to get into it. Hoegaarden, the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't like that either.
At Port City, half our sales is Optimal Wit, which is a Belgian white ale. That's half the beer we make. People love it. Yeah. But
I see it. I get it. It's interesting though. But that's what I'm wondering is if somebody actually ends up showing up at a brewery. That's interesting to know. Half of it is wit beer, half of it's something lighter, or do they just go like, give me what you would drink, or give me like the crazy IPA? That's that interesting dynamic. Like I just assumed that the lager was the easy sell, but maybe people, if they get into a craft beer bar, are going to try something a little bit more exotic, maybe.
Yeah,
because I think they need to.
Yeah.
But it's become a cool thing. I mean, I think Mr. Steve's the one that brought it to my attention, or that kind of suggested the ideas. Like, start out with a lager, a Pilsner. When you go to a restaurant, when you go to a brewery, order that first. Do that before you wreck your palate with some hops or whatever else you might be drinking. And, test that out, see how you like that, and then move on to the hazy or the IPA that you've been really wanting to try.
And part of that was just me seeing that all I was drinking was IPA. That's all I was drinking. And I said, you know what? I want to broaden my horizons. I want to get away from just doing the IPAs. And through the process of making sure I order a lager first, I began to appreciate the different lagers and be able to differentiate good from bad. And that kind of helped me educate myself by just throw myself out there and saying, I'm going to try these lagers. I'm going to try these Pilsners. And now I tend to gravitate towards them.
Agree completely.
And I I love looking at, I brought up Port City's tap list. You got the Belgian, you got the Golden Ale, Pilsner, the Euro Lager, Pale, IPA, the Porter, the Belgian Strong Gold, and the Weizenbach. There's such a variety there. Yeah. I hate it when I see 8 out of 10 IPAs now. It drives me insane. Like, I don't understand as a brewery how you only do that. So to see that kind of variety, it makes my heart happy.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I listen, I love IPAs. I've been drinking IPAs my whole life. But, you can't just drink IPAs. You got to try something else. So
I named my dog IPA. My dog's name is Pippa.
Yeah,
so
right.
I know, but
That's amazing.
There's more to life than just IPAs.
But I mean, like I said, on that 2-tap kegerator, I got an IPA all the time, and then I got a nice, crispy lager. Right now it's the Tamave. Yeah, crispy boys.
That's awesome. So, I've been exploring Delaware quite a bit over the past few weeks, and I've been to a lot of breweries down here. And I went to Dogfish Head. I went to Crooked Hammock. I went to Dewey. Dewey's fantastic. Dewey's probably at the top of the list right now. I was texting with Dunn from Fan Brewing the other day, and I think he's on point. And I should probably bring some back for Taylor. The kettle sours are probably, top tier, better than anybody else out there. But their IPAs are fantastic. All the beer's fantastic, but the food is too. Last night I checked out a place called Big Oyster. And Taylor, you actually brought a Big Oyster on the show a couple weeks ago, Marley the Sour, which I did have and is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Their hazy IPAs are pretty decent, nothing crazy. But this beer here is called Hammerhead. This is a West Coast IPA, 6.4. This might be one of the best beers I've found down here. When you go to the beer store, there's not as good of a selection as you get in PA. It's just not as good, and stuff that's on the shelf has been there for a while. This is probably one of the most well-balanced beers that I've had in a long time. It's clean as far as the color. It's nice and clear, but man, is it fantastic. I'll have to bring some back, but I don't know. Maybe we can get, if you got Marley, I guess we're getting Big Oyster in PA. I don't know. I saw the Marley. Where'd you get it?
I saw the Marley at Thorndale Beverage.
Okay.
And I think I saw it at Exton as well, but I don't recall seeing it recently. Anyway, maybe it was more of a summer thing, but it was really good. The Marley stuff. I got some for my birthday. Harmon got me a 4-pack for my birthday. That's where I had it the first time.
Dan Harmon.
Yes, sir.
Dan Harmon. Tell Dan Harmon I said hello.
I will. Came through with some Marley beers and some Marley trees for my birthday.
What, like a bonsai tree?
Exactly.
It
was exactly what it is. I water it every night before I go to sleep.
You roll it
We
up
gotta get
nice
Mike
and
back
tight in a
on.
blanket.
Yeah, just nice and tight.
Mike from Slip Pot Bonsai. He's always engaged and commenting on stuff and liking and sending messages and stuff like that. So we should get him back on.
I got to talk to him. We brought our bonsais inside because it's so cold.
Yeah.
And they're like dropping leaves like crazy. So I gotta figure out if I got a problem with my bonsai or not. I need a bonsai doctor.
You gotta get to the bottom of that.
I'm worried.
Tom Densmore.
You know Tom?
Tom Densmore's a good man. He's
Is he?
He's one of the top physicists in the country. No, he teaches high school physics in Westchester. He's my cousin, and I love him dearly.
What up, Tom?
Tom, how you doing, Tom?
Thanks for coming on, Tom.
Thanks for educating our youth, because that's one of the most important things.
They need it.
Need it bad. So as much as I'm excited that you guys are here, I did try to get another guest on prior, which was Run the Jewels. And Run the Jewels was not available to be on the show. Yeah. But I was super excited to see they're doing a beer collab. So Taylor, do you know what Cyberpunk is? It's a video game, right?
Video game that's getting ready to come out whenever they decide
And Run
to
the
release
Jewels
it.
either did the soundtrack or they're part of it, but they're doing the Cyberpunk Run the Jewels beer collab, and they're collabing with a bunch of breweries across the country. One of them being our boy Marcus from Weathered Souls in Texas.
Yeah.
He's one of the people involved. But I was really excited to see that. And it's interesting that, like, I read an article about Run the Jewels and them doing beer collabs, and, you know, how they feel like the two mesh, that people that are craft beer fans are also potentially a fan of Run the Jewels, and there's some kind of synergies there. as far as the style of things that they're into or appreciating well-crafted beer, music, whatever. That may be a journalist reaching a little bit. I don't know.
Run the Jewels is so important in so many aspects of life, whether it's beer, music, pop culture. I urge people to go listen to Run the Jewels 4. It is my clear-cut album of the year. There isn't anything that has come out that I've heard cover to cover that has captivated me as much as Run the Jewels 4. And if you listen to the album and you like it, go look up on YouTube Holy Kalama Vote. They did a live whole concert of the whole album in order to get people to register to vote like last month or something like that. They did it on Adult Swim, and it was absolutely fantastic. Go check them out. Run the Jewels. Very important. Killer Mike is incredible. So is LP.
They are fantastic. If
They don't pay us.
they
They
do
don't
not
pay us. They don't pay us.
If anybody knows them or has their number, please text them and tell them I'm very disappointed that they did not show up.
They're supposed to be here.
I'll let them know.
Multiple messages were left, and Facebook messages and Instagram messages sent.
They're probably on acid.
What would Taylor do if Run the Jewels popped up on one of these screens?
I wouldn't tell him. I'd probably just like
No, you can't. He would lose his effing mind.
I would just bring them on screen. That's probably what you would do.
Oh my god, dude! Oh my god!
He'd be yelling for Jackie. He'd be like, "Jackie, come see."
I'm gonna put in my butt and twist it.
All kinds of shit. I would just
Yo,
be-
shout out Lauren Van Dyke Mathery, because she said this is like a high school reunion she didn't get invited to. She messaged on the not in the chat, but on the Facebook post. Shout out. But
Here, turn
my
that
phone.
shit down, dude.
I'm gonna leave my
Silence.
phone alone.
Yeah. So, cheers for the week.
Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, we're running out of time for my
Yeah.
portion. You guys can keep
For
on
your
going.
portion,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
keep
yeah.
going after you're done. Do you want to start, Taylor? Because I feel like yours is.
Well, I'll just keep it short and sweet. Lost a friend this week, Chris Abood. Devin's real good friends with him as well. It's a real shame. My thoughts are with his wife, Courtney. John, you and me grew up with Courtney. I remember when she first got her driver's license and had a conniption fit because she couldn't figure out how to put gas in her car. Like, that's how long we've all been in each other's lives.
Yeah.
And it's just a real shame, man. And yeah, so cheers to Chris and everybody who knew him, everybody who loved him. Cheers to you guys.
Toast of the week. Yeah, I got to piggyback off that a little bit because I didn't know Chris that well, but of course, like you said, we knew Courtney for a long time.
Chris is a great guy.
And a lot of our friends that I am closer with are close with them and that family, and it was definitely heartbreaking this week. So, cheers to toast to everybody that was close to that family and to Chris. Sorry for your loss, man, but I hate doing this because it's like we keep doing this toast of the week was supposed to be like this cool segment, and terrible shit keeps happening.
I mean,
The dog, Chris, whatever. But I mean,
it's the moment to recognize,
yeah,
That's all.
that's what it is. That's what it is. So,
And it can be anything. If it's heavy, if it's lighthearted. Mine this week is a toast to the greatest holiday that's coming up next week. It's Thanksgiving time. If anybody wants to get into a argument with me about the better holiday, and I can tell you why you're wrong, it's Thanksgiving. You don't have to buy any presents. You don't have to worry about disappointing anybody.
So true.
You usually only have to travel to one spot.
Yeah.
You got food, you got football, you got beer releasing on Wednesday, you got beer releasing on Friday. It's the GOAT holiday, Thanksgiving to Thanksgiving.
well done, Mr. Steve.
Well, way to turn it around there, Mr. Steve.
do what I do. What I do.
You do a great job.
But
I feel like
before we
this
end the
segment would
show-
be different if like the Eagles were good this year, or like there was something to be happy about, or like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Just this is where we're at.
Hold on a second. I was gonna toast COVID for getting to JJ Arcega-Whiteside, but I decided against it. The only thing he has caught this year has been COVID. I stayed away.
Oh, that's awesome. Before we end the show, I want to give a shout out to Ryan again. Fueled by Hops, the Cheers Yens Fest. I posted the link again in the chat, but I'll make sure I post it again. I think it's fantastic what you're doing for your local breweries and breweries all over, where you can help them out and get people more engaged. So keep doing what you're doing, because between everything, the podcast, the group, the blog, the festival, you're doing great things for the industry. And I think that's what we're all here to do. Help support it. All the stuff that brings us joy, we're trying our best to give it back. So keep doing what you're doing. And thank you so much for hanging out and being a part of
thanks for having me.
the conversation, bringing more content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Harahan, if you're willing, we're definitely going to hang out probably for another half hour. I'm sure Taylor's going to get off, but we do have to end the official recording of Might Be Brews that gets released on the podcast. So there's the music.
Yeah, man.
John, thank you for hanging out with us. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, buddy. Listen, if you guys took the time to hang out with us, to comment on the Facebook Live, to listen to us on your favorite podcast platform, whatever it might be, you took us with us. You took us with you on the way to work. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Make sure you check out the website, mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier to find your favorite podcast. Also, please consider supporting us, patreon.com/mbnnetwork, and also our sponsor, eunomiacbd.com, eunomiacbd.com. Use promo code MBN, get 20% off and some free stuff. I've been taking the CBD gummy peach rings every night before I go to sleep. I sleep like a baby. They're fantastic. So make sure you check them out. But if you took the time to check us out, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Cheers.